guys, welcome back to the channel Practical Learning Assets. So in today's video, we are going to start with the fifth part of chapter Election and Representation. So our today's topic is free and fair elections. So let's start with the video. The true test of any election system is its ability to ensure a free and fair election process. Now if we want democracy to be translated into reality on the ground, then it is very important that the election system is impartial and transparent. Now the system of election must allow the aspirations of the voter to find legitimate expression through the electoral results. Now, when we are talking about free and fair elections, there are two things that come under this topic. The first one, that is universal franchise and the right to contest. Then the second is election commission. So we will see both of them one by one. So let's first see what is universal franchise and what is the right to contest. Now we all already know that the democratic elections require that all the adult citizens of the country must be eligible to vote in the elections. Now this is known as universal adult franchise. That is all the adult citizens. Now here adult citizens means that all the citizens who are 18 or above 18, so they all must be eligible to vote in the elections. Now in many countries, citizens had to fight long battles with the rulers to get this right. In many countries, women could get this right very late and only after long struggles. One of the important decisions of the framers of the Indian Constitution was to guarantee every adult citizen in India the right to vote. Now till 1989, an adult Indian meant an Indian citizen above the age of 21. But an amendment to the Constitution was made in 1989 and that reduced the eligibility age to 18. Now this is all about what is a universal franchise. Now let's see what is right to contest. Now all citizens have the right to stand for election and become the representative of the people. However, there are different minimum age requirements for contesting elections. For example, in order to stand for Lok Sabha or Assembly election, a candidate must be at least 25 years old, and there are some other restrictions also. For instance, there is a legal provision that a person who has undergone imprisonment for 2 or more years for some offense is disqualified from contesting elections. But there are no restrictions of income, education or class or gender on the right to contest the elections. In this sense, our system of election is open to all the citizens. So now let's see the other aspect of free and fair elections, that is Independent Election Commission. Now Article 324 of the Indian Constitution provides for an Independent Election Commission. Now this is very important to remember that which article gives the provision of Independent Election Commission, that is Article 324. Now this article provides an Independent Election Commission for the superintendence, direction and control of the electoral roll and the conduct of elections in India. Now, to assist the Election Commission of India, there is a Chief Electoral Officer in every state. The Election Commission is not responsible for the conduct of local body elections. The state election commissioners work independently of the Election Commission of India and each has its own sphere of operation. The Election Commission of India can either be a single member or a multi-member body. Till 1989, the Election Commission was a single member body. Just before the 1989 general elections, 2 election commissioners were appointed, making the body multi-member. Soon after the elections, the commission reverted to its single member status. Then in 1993, 2 election commissioners were once again appointed and the commission became multi-member and has remained multi-member since then. And there is a general consensus about a multi-member election commission being more appropriate as power is shared and there is a greater accountability. Now the Chief Election Commissioner presides over the Election Commission, but it does not have more powers than the election commissioners. The CEC, that is Chief Election Commissioner, and the two election commissioners have equal powers to take all decisions relating to elections as a collective body. They are appointed by the President of India on the advice of the Council of Ministers, and the Constitution ensures the security of the tenure of the CEC and election commissioners. They are appointed for a 6-year term or continue till the age of 65, that whichever is earlier. The CEC can be removed before the expiry of the term by the President if both houses of Parliament make such a recommendation with a special majority. This is done to ensure that a ruling party cannot remove a CEC who refuses to favour in its elections. The election commissioners can also be removed by the President of India. Now, the Election Commission of India has a wide range of functions. It supervises the preparation of up-to-date voters list. It also determines the timing of elections and prepares the election schedule. The election schedule includes the notification of elections, date from which nominations can be filed, last date for filing nominations, last date of scrutiny, last date of withdrawal of date of polling, and date of counting and declaration of results. Now, during this entire process, the Election Commission has the power to take decisions to ensure a free and fair poll. It can postpone or cancel the election in the entire country or a specific state or constituency on the grounds that the atmosphere is vitiated and therefore a free and fair election may not be possible. The Commission also implements a model code of conduct for parties and candidates. It can order a re-poll in a specific constituency. It can also order a recount of votes when it feels that the counting process has not been fully fair and just. The Election Commission accords recognition to political parties and allots symbols to each of them. Now, the Election Commission has very limited staff of its own. It conducts the elections with the help of the administrative machinery. During the election process, the administrative workers of the state and the central governments are assigned election-related duty, and in this respect, the Election Commission has full control over them. The record of Election Commission also shows that every improvement in the functioning of institutions does not require legal or constitutional change. Since 1951 to 52, 17 Lok Sabha elections have been held. Many more state assembly elections and by-elections have been conducted by the Election Commission, and the EC has faced many difficult situations such as holding election militancy affected areas like Assam, Punjab or Jammu and Kashmir. It has also faced the difficult situation of having to postpone the election process midway in 1991 when the ex-Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated during campaigning. Now, this is another one more important point, and we all need to remember this. Then in 2002, the Election Commission faced another critical situation when the Gujarat Assembly was dissolved and elections had to be conducted. Now, Election Commission decided to postpone elections to the State Assembly by a few months, and the Supreme Court upheld this decision of the Election Commission. So guys, this was all about what is Election Commission. So in today's video, we have discussed what is free and fair elections and what accounts this. The first part is universal adult franchise and the right to contest. Then is the freedom or the independence of Election Commission. So guys, this was all about today's video. If you like the video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Bye guys.